everyone, and this is Scott from the GroomsMen, and I know, right? Look like I just rolled out of bed. Well, you know, why not? So, as you can see here, I'm at about 10 days growth now here. So I got quite a bit of growth going on. I'm going to be using Rex Supply 1966, the new scent. It's a summerish citrus type scent. I'm going to be using a rather odd razor today that looks like this. It's called Triflex. Okay, so what it is it's a old travel style razor that looks like a blade blank. And how it does is it slides up and there's this little pinhole here that it catches on. And this is the head of the razor right here, all right? It's a two-piece head, all right? Thank you for Todd Grope, however you say his name, for telling me how to put this thing together because I didn't have a clue. I got this the other day in a purchase of a Sheridan. It came and it looked like the blade bank. But upon further inspection, I was like, this is not a blade bank. There's something jacked up about this thing. So the blade just kind of sits in here. And it's a little bit reminiscent of a Goodwill with that. And the top, there's a groove here that slides into this nub and one into that nub. And it just kind of like locks the blade in there like this. Todd had told me that this is a good shave, but man, if you look at that thing, it's got a pretty nifty blade gap in there. So then how it kind of works is you kind of put one of these in like so. There's these little notches here. And what I found is you kind of just put one in a groove and then it just pushes like that and it spreads, and like that you have a safety razor, okay? And it can adjust it a little bit taller, and it catches, there's a pin right there that catches in that hole. So I've never used this. I just disinfected it. It just got it. And from what I can tell, I don't think it's ever been used because it's really, really stiff. It is brass. I'm assuming plated in gold. But I'm going to shave, cold shave. No, didn't get out of the shower, nothing like that. So I'm going to get some soap up here. I'm going to just wet my face, throw the soap on it, and we're going to go to town on this. I've tried, I do got a pre-shave bar here. We could use the Rex pre-shave too. I might as well. It's been a hot minute since I've used it, so. And, being ongoing with a soap something I've never used before, I'm going to go ahead and get my soap loaded. I tub load and then put it on my face. And, it just takes a good 30 seconds or so of working into the brush. And you don't really got to push. You just kind of want the bristles to pick it up. This is a Body Works Badger brush that I picked on like Amazon Prime Day deals for pretty cheap, to be honest. And then when you start to see your brush head starting to stick together like that, it means you're starting to get a fair amount of soap on it, all right? And then the rest of the wetness will come from when we wet up here, okay? So go ahead and get wetted up. And I'm just taking cold water, splashing it on my face here, working it into my hands. And then I'm going to hit it with the pre-shave bar. And this kind of is to act as a initial type sealing moisture, and it'll help the soap from drying out. And like I said, I don't know what to expect with this thing, so your guess is going to be as good as mine. Todd says it's a good shave, but mine's a True Flex, which is a little bit different than the one he sent me instructions for. There's a YouTube video someone else did on how to put it together with the original case and stuff, and I'm glad he did because I didn't have a clue what was going on. But that one was named something else. It was not called True Flex. Mine was a personalized gift for someone because it had a name engraved on it named Lee. So I'm using a good blade. I'm using a Gillette Platinum here, and we have a new thing in the Groomsmen. We say if you didn't record or didn't have photos, it didn't happen. So okay, well, I mean, there's a bit of tugging, but that's not the razor's fault, to be honest with you. This isn't. that bad. I mean, there's blade feel, but you know, DE shaving with 10 days growth, that's kind of my own fault, right? Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna rinse out super easy. Just like that, yeah. I mean, there you go. You know, and then with razors, depending on the razor, some you want to ride the guard with, some you want to ride the cap with. This is definitely a guard one. Switching my position here and the feel of it. Huh. How about that? Huh. It's interesting. It's not. It's my own fault. I could see if this. I could use this as a daily shaver, and I was telling my wife that if this thing doesn't shave half bad, given the size of it especially, this is going to be my new travel razor. That was its initial intention. I am a razor dealer. I do sell a few, but I'm also mostly a razor collector. And, you know, it's funny. JD's making fun of me saying, well, you have the biggest collection of all of us, or the most razors, but yet you shave the least. And I guess there's some truth to that. Plugged it up a little bit, but you know, what do you expect, right? I mean, we're making progress, just slow but steady, right? Because we got a lot going on here. Put the plug on in my sink. I will say the head is so small and nimble that it's real easy to like line stuff up if I'm not looking at a ton of. Yeah, so what I'm gonna have to do here is I gotta pop. Okay, probably gotta take off the top. I gotta pop this real quick, and because how it separates is it literally just slides apart like that. I gotta declog this. It's half a face later. It's or 3/4 of a face. It's pretty plugged up. But what it does have is it has these little tabs right here on each end. You see that? And that's what holds. It slides into these slants, but it also holds the blade in place as you're sliding the slants together so that it doesn't go out of alignment. It's nifty what two little things can do, and I don't even know when this thing was made, to be honest with you. I don't have a clue. If Todd watches these videos, maybe he can tell us. I guess I should watch that YouTube video that he sent me, because that probably mentioned about when this thing was made. Like I said, I got it out of a Sheridan open comb case, so handle's a little bit janky to put on here, but it does work. It helps, especially when it's slid up a way. I'm gonna get my ass kicked by this thing here. All right, here we go. Getting my, now that it's wet and slippery, it's not as easy as put together, so. There, jeez. Get my butt kicked by this piece of crap. All right. not piece of crap. I'm just getting get it laid up. I better hurry up. This is gonna start drying off. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I doomed this blade. And yeah, I know I'm gonna get it roasted. I know I didn't do the long, smooth drags that you're supposed to do with D, but I would challenge anyone to try to do long, smooth drag with 10 days grow. Unless you're like Patch Adams, it ain't gonna happen, right? So I gotta re-moisture my face. It's getting way too draggy for me. I can't handle it. There. Alright. Alright. Almost there. So how's everyone been? Lately it's been a little hectic. I'm doing like 60-hour weeks right now. I do, let's see. Yeah, 60 at least. So, making the dream come true. All right. On the final steps there. On other notes, where you've seen me take a shower on video before, I managed to complete the jet tub, as in Mrs. Schmidt is going to be happy because I bought the house 5 years ago, had a jet tub. Well, this said jet tub has never worked. And on over the Memorial Day week or Labor Day weekend here, I don't know what it was, but something struck a chord with me, and I finally decided, you know what? I'm a pretty handy guy. I work on cars. I know how to do some plumbing. I know how to do some electrical work. I'm very handy with a lot of things. And I decided, can't be better, can't be any worse, right? So I gave it the old college try. Get wetted up again. And the old college try worked. I started ripping into it, checked out some of the piping valves just to make sure that thing was looking good, but that all the seals were good, and had to rewire a couple things, cut a couple things off. And then I was like, all right, so I got it all done, and I plugged it in, and then it didn't work. And I go, well, what the crap? You know, I pushed the button. Well, during my inspections of doing things and ripping things apart, I was looking for like an on-off switch, you know? I figured maybe there's an on-off switch or something on this stupid thing. They're like, it's gotta be on, and then you activate it with the push button in the tub, right? And, well, turns out there was no on-off switch. Then I found this thing that looked like a fuse, like a stick fuse, like you screw in, I've seen on amps and stuff like that. And they've done some wiring of stereos and stuff in the past. And I unscrew it, and I stick it, and this tub's already installed, mind you, so I'm shoving my hand in this little crevice working on things, and I'm allergic. I have some allergies and sensitivity to fiberglass, and my skin's breaking out. I'm taking Benadryl, and I did this over the course of a couple nights, and I took that thing out. Well, there's no fuse behind it. So I go, well, the heck, that doesn't make any sense. And then the next day, I was like, all right. I rewired the plug that I'd cut off, plugged it in, nothing happened, pushed the button. Well, I started looking at the button on the tub, and it turns out it's like, there's nothing hooked to it. There's no wires, there's no hose, there ain't nothing. And then I just kind of go, okay. So I took the black cap off, again, where I thought was that fuse on the tub, or on the pump itself, and I'm comparing it to the one that I took off the tub. And I noticed they have the same little like flared nipple fitting on it. And I go, well, when I've seen those before, I've seen that plumbing on PEX, the spur fittings for PEX and PVC or vinyl tubing, right? So I go, I wonder. So I start looking into it a little bit, and I didn't YouTube anything until this point. And even then, I didn't YouTube because I managed to get the name of the pump, and I'm looking up instruction manuals for this specific pump on their website. And it doesn't mention jack about putting anything into that, you know? So then at this point I go, okay, well, let me look at YouTube, and I found this replacement part thing too for the pump during a Google search. And I go, oh, it's that button has this vinyl hose off of it. So I go, okay, well, so then come to find out that those things operate, some of them operate on like an air pressure turn on switch. I go, oh, well, that's interesting. An air pressure turn off switch, on and off switch, and there's no vinyl tube hooked to it, so it ain't gonna turn nothing on if it ain't gonna work, right? So I go get vinyl tube. I buy 3/8 and 1/4 inch because it wasn't for sure. It looked like a 1/4 inch, but you know how that goes. So I did it, bought it, hooked her up, filled her up. Bada bing, bada boom, it works. So after 5 years of having a tub sitting here tormenting us, my wife now is going to be able to enjoy her jet tub after we clean it. Because on an initial turn on, it was pretty gross. There was some pretty nasty stuff that came out of that thing. So, well, everyone, look at this. Not too bad. To be honest, straight up, that razor is really efficient. I mean, you could hear the blade feedback, and by golly, it gave me almost a BBS. I mean, not totally, but my particular problem areas are right here, which there's still feedback there. But right here, man, ooh, she's smooth. For 9 or 10, 8 days, well, 8 to 10, somewhere in that range. Days growth, it worked pretty good. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining me. Stay classy, and if you like this community, continue to subscribe, tell your friends, spread the word. Have a good day. Thank you.